Hi everybody, welcome to late April where it is disgustingly cold and wet outside, just as dreary as our awful winter here in Minnesota that we just made it through. However, inside the sunroom, which is like our little greenhouse here, it is smelling like cinnamon. And why, you ask? Well, because we've got some disease pressure going on with the seedlings. Just trying to get them through the next few weeks so we can get them outside and into the ground so Mother Nature can help us take care of them. Oh my gosh, I have spent so much energy and effort replanting little seedlings, pulling them apart, making sure they're watered, making sure they have enough sunlight, all this stuff. And then on top of it, to run into disease, it's just like, it's just a punch to the gut. We've also got a whole bunch of amazing things coming out of the ground right now because it's spring. So all the garden beds outside are just popping. And it's so exciting because it's fun to see what's coming up. And then I always do I have no idea what that thing is. Because half the stuff, I don't remember what I did last season. And that's A-okay. It's just really fun to see what's coming up. And then some of it you're like, I think that's a weed. And we are about to put Ranaculus outside. I've been waiting for this moment since I think late January, February. Finally have them in a great spot, and the weather's finally good enough here. We don't have lows that are gonna go below freezing anymore. So I wanna show you some of the progress I've got going with flowers. The delphiniums in particular have been phenomenal. They're like capturing my heart. So I'm gonna show you those first. Check this out. I did sit down and spent the time to fill 72 little cells of each of these individual delphinium, and they are mostly all white, so their blooms will be white, and then this last row is blue. And they definitely look different. The leaf shape is different at this stage, but they are just rocking it out. I'm so proud of them. I feel like they're giving me a lot back. You've got some of these true leaves coming up here. They are just making me so happy. On these combined trays, you can see here there is cinnamon. And what I've been doing is rustling up wherever I see spores happening and putting down some cinnamon just to keep things fresh, try to ward off any dampening off or disease going on here. And I was really disappointed this morning. These snapdragons that I took time to replant here, while they've been growing pretty well, a lot of them had some, I don't know what to call it. Maybe it's mold or it's, dampening off. Something was at the bottom of each of the stems, like white fuzzy. And I just painstakingly sat down and I scraped that off of each one of them. Most of them had it. And then I put cinnamon around the base just to ward that off. Peppers are amazing. They're quickly becoming one of my favorite things to grow because they do not seem to be phased. They do not have disease pressure. It's like they don't invite it. I don't know a lot about peppers. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm just telling you my own personal experience here, and it's been so wonderful to grow them. They are so easy. And in contrast here, oh, don't mind my scraps. In contrast, you can see in this tray that has a little bit of mold pressure here. These seedlings are still rocking. They're rocking, because I put down cinnamon, I think a couple days ago, and they did just fine. Not bothered one bit. Look at this delphinium. That is probably my most mature one. It is loving life. So great. This tray of dianthesis was feeling a little weepy, and I knew it needed water this morning. Again, I was afraid to water it because there's some mold pressure, and I went through and scraped the mold. I also put some more cinnamon down, so crossing fingers that they make it across the finish line here. Tomatoes, so a tip and hint that I've learned that you might find handy. If you start noticing any like rot at the base of the stem, usually that's a death sentence. It's like, yep, it's rotting, it's not any good. But what you can do is just bury it deeper, or if you have some clearance in your cup or your container, you can just add more soil, essentially to make sure that it's covered up enough on the stem to give it a fighting chance. So I just did that with 3 of the tomatoes, including this big boy, which is looking grand. I mean, the tomatoes are all looking really, really solid. And in fact, some are so tall that I had to put them on the top shelf. I'm gonna be fertilizing marigolds here shortly. They look great. They were getting a little upset because they needed a drink. So I'm gonna fertilize them later so they can keep jamming. The desert roses are looking okay. I don't know if I will grow them inside next time. They seem to be more trouble than they're worth. I think they're just happier outside is my strong guess. I went and grabbed the rest of the dahlias I had overwintered in the basement, and most of them made it. I didn't have a ton. Last year was not my best year for dahlias. I didn't go big, and I wish I had. So I'm glad that these ones made. I think there's about 5 or 6 of them total between these 4 pots. So they are well on their way. Just crossing fingers they get going here. And then these ones are looking so grand. Look at this one, this red dinner plate. This orange dinner plate one. We've got 2 sprouts coming up. I see a sprout just starting here on this red dinner plate one. More peppers that look phenomenal. No issues whatsoever. The candy tuft is super impressive. No issues whatsoever. Good Lord, it's just so cold out. It was 35 this morning, but at least we've got tulips coming up. Look at these buds. Allie Doodle, did you get a haircut? Come here, girl. Hi. We groom her up ourselves, and I love how cute she looks when she's all groomed up. Yeah. Go see that pretty face. Now she's all ready for tick season. The water is still incredibly high. We had record snowfall in Minnesota this winter of 2023. I think the last stat I heard, it's the 5th most snowiest winter on record. Something like that. Plus we've had a lot of rain this spring. Cold, damp. It is kind of neat to see the wetland look like a lake. It's quite the view. We've had a lot of high winds lately. Not surprised to see more branches down. Can hear the wind kicking up again. It feels like there's a winter storm hitting out of nowhere within like a minute. I think this weather makes me even more grateful for spring and signs of spring. I think these are white phlox. These are some really cool oriental poppies that we got last season. They look so good. Oh, and look at Grandma's peony. All of this growth. So much volume. Hello, little friend. Welcome. Rose is looking good. Some really nice green signs of life. The yarrow we transplanted from the pasture's looking great. Poppies on their 2nd year, looking awesome. I have no clue what this is. Foxglove. Holy hollyhocks. Look at all these seeds that came up. I don't know what these are. Lilies. GMs are peeking up and out. These I think are Veronica. Ground cover phlox. Creeping Jenny. Just gobs of it. Look at how stunning the hyacinth are. Aren't they gorgeous? They are so beautiful. Like this dusty, light, peachy pink. And little babies coming up. I want to show you all how the Ranaculus are doing. I just transplanted them yesterday. They look okay. I mean, yeah, they're a little bit tattered and torn. It was cold today, it was blustery, but they're actually looking pretty vibrant, all things considered. Sometimes they can look a little droopy anyways, and undoubtedly there's shock. But overall, I'm pretty happy. I mean, they just got a real sharp hardening off period by just throwing them out here. And they're looking not too bad. So the plan is if they hang on and they really establish roots in these larger planter boxes, we hopefully will get blooms by mid-May, in a couple weeks.